Hey, what's up, guys? So, welcome to your very own astrology channel, and I guess this video finds you in good health and prosperity. I just hope so, because I had not been interacting with you people over a month, and I am making this video maybe after a month or so. Because all the time when I was missing you people, I was in Dubai for the business purposes. So here am I back home in India, and churning out a video for you people. And if you can read the it's one of the most interesting concepts in Vedic astrology that we are going to be doing today, and that's the reason that this episode of ours is going to be very large. But it's going to be very large, or you can say it's going to be very long. But those of you who would stick to this particular episode till the very end, they will actually get their fundamentals very clear as to what are the yogas in Vedic astrology. So it's like you watch this video one time, and thereafter for life, the knowledge that I'll be giving you in this video will be etched on your minds for life, and you would probably be in a state that you would not have a need to consult any of the astrological books as far as the yogas in Vedic astrology are concerned. Now, on an introductory note, I am telling that this is not one of those videos in which I will be discussing about the important yogas in Vedic astrology, like the Neech Bhang Raj Yoga, the Parivartan Raj Yoga, the Dharma Kramadipati Raj Yoga, the Viprit Raj Yoga, the Ruchka Raj Yoga, and the Sarala, and there are many yogas in Vedic astrology which I have already made the videos on those particular topics in my channel on detail. Those are videos approximately 45 minutes in length. So I have covered those specific important yogas in Vedic astrology in extreme detail already. But still, I keep on getting comments from people wherein they are like, dude, can you find out whether I have any yoga in your horoscope or not, or there are emails wherein somebody tells that I have this particular Raj Yoga in my horoscope, or I have this particular Neech Bhang Raj Yoga in my horoscope, and you told in your episode that when this yoga is going to manifest in your life, it will bring you a lot of name, fame, prosperity, reputation, stardom, glory, or any of your wishes, be it be materialistic or it be social wishes. Any of your wishes would get fulfilled when since that particular yoga is there in your chart. But they are like, when is that thing gonna happen? Because my life is literally in tatters right now. Some of them say that they are in debt, or they are suffering from the chronic diseases, or going through a very hard life. So this particular episode of ours is directed on the introductory concept, that what is the terminology called yoga in Vedic astrology. What does this term called yogas exactly mean? And it's a human tendency, because it's a human tendency, even including me. We as humans are triggered to think about the solutions, or to get to the solutions before actually analyzing that where the problem lies. So, for example, if somebody is suffering from, let's suppose, a mental ailment, or a mild depression, then instead of making the small changes in his lifetime, in his lifestyle, instead of making some kind of changes in his diet, instead of getting up and sleeping at the right time, instead of indulging into the spiritual prospects of life, like doing Reiki, yoga, meditation, and the things of that sort, or making an effort on your own end to improve the relationships which might be in a doleful state, and triggering that depression in your life. Instead of fixing all those things up, we are more reluctant to get to the solutions the solutions, and therein we become slaves to those antidepressants that are there in the market, or the SSRIs that are there in the market. Or if I were to give you a different example, then if somebody wants to become a business tycoon, a big time business tycoon who is regularly in the news for some reason or the other, we just want to get there fast without actually doing the SWOT analysis. In management, in business management, we use the word SWOT analysis. That is, we don't analyze our strengths, our weaknesses, that whether we are actually made, that whether we are actual fit for taking that business forward. We don't do the SWOT analysis, in the sense that we don't assess that what are the threats that may be posed to the company that we would be starting by the fellow competitors that are already operating in the market, and they have already been established and are having a huge market share. Neither, or it could be the case that you don't do that proper analysis, and you might be pitching your product that you are selling to the wrong customers. And since you are selling it to the wrong customers, the deal, highly likely are the chances that the deal's not going to get materialized, because you, after all, aren't offering any utility to the person who you are pitching your product to, because he is not your actual target customer, and he doesn't need your product, and that's why it results it results without any deal getting materialized. And similar is the thing when it comes to the yogas in Vedic astrology. We are the moment we get to know that we have the Nichbhang Raj Yoga, or the Parivartan Raj Yoga, or the Viprit Raj Yoga, or the Dharma Karmadipati Raj Yoga, we get so exhilarated, we get so excited about it, that we want to know about that yoga itself, without actually understanding that what exactly does this yoga mean, with what strength would this yoga fructify itself in your chart, and we are bizarre to the extent that we don't even realize that whether that yoga that is happening in our chart is a good yoga or is a bad yoga. Many of those Raj yogas, I'll be making. I have given already examples in the Nichbhang Raj Yoga and the rest of the episodes on yogas I have made. Many of those Raj yogas can create a lot of tumult and torture in your life. So instead of bringing the stardom, fanfare, and glory, they can make your life a living hell. And this is what we don't realize. And the third thing that we don't realize while assessing the yogas is at what time will that yoga fructify itself in our life, and that is at what time will that yoga manifest itself and give its results in our life, whether it is the good results or is it the bad results. When are those results gonna come in your life? We don't assess that. Since if a person has some yoga, he expect that his life is gonna be a roller coaster ride, since he has that particular yoga. But what he doesn't realize that he is in tatters right now because of some other bad planetary placement. And that yoga, with that positive yoga which is there in his horoscope, is still to get activated maybe 10 or 15 years down the line, when and it is probably at that time when he'll come out of the debt or the problems he is facing right now, and at that particular time he'll reach the apex of success in his career. So in this particular video, I am going to tell you the basic of yogas, how to assess the strength of the particular yoga that is happening in your horoscope, and when will that particular yoga manifest itself and give results in your life. So basically yoga is said to be happening in your chart. A simple yoga is said to be happening in your chart if any of those 5 things are happening in your chart. That is, if there is a conjunction, if there is a conjunction of 2 or more planets. That is, if there is a union or conjunction of 2 or more planets. That is, if 2 or more planets are placed in a single house in a horoscope, then those planets are set to form a yoga in your horoscope. then there is a thing called mutual aspect. If there is a mutual aspect between any two planets, then a yoga is said to be happening in your chart. And I have on my channel under the playlist section named Making Your Fundamentals Strong. Under that I had uploaded a video as to how we shall make accurate predictions in astrology, and there is another video wherein I have through the Vedic astrology charts given example as to how we shall use the mutual aspects to assess that what kind of a results would we be getting when that particular yoga which is a result of the mutual aspect between the planets, when that particular yoga is gonna fructify, and how good or bad will it be. The thirdly, if there is a yoga karaka planet for your ascendant, then that yoga karaka planet, if well placed, it behaves like a planet that's gonna bestow you with the name, fame, glory, stardom, and probably depending on the placement, any of those wishes is gonna fulfilled had that yoga karaka planet been averagely or even above averagely placed in your chart. Then a yoga is said to be happening in your chart when there is an exchange of signs. That is, when two planets or even more than two planets, they exchange each other's sign, or they are placed in the each other's houses. And then the fifth thing, what boils down to a yoga is a single planet replacements. There are the Vedic Shastra, that is a Brihad Prashra Pura Shastra, which is the Bible of Vedic astrology. It tells that there are certain single planet replacements, wherein a placement of a single planet in a horoscope can actually bestow onto you a Raj Yoga, a positive Raj Yoga, which will make your stasher likely that used to be that of a king in the olden times. So these are the 5 things from which we assess whether a yoga is happening in your life or not. And in this particular video, we would be concentrating on the conjunction thing only, because this is the part 1 of the video. In the part 2 of the video, I will be covering the rest of the concepts, the rest of these 4 concepts. But since the conjunction thing is most important, I will be devoting this entire episode on how a conjunction between the 2 planets can lead to a yoga in your horoscope. So this is the Vedic chart that is in front of me, and I am going to validate or elucidate this concept of conjunction forming the yogas by the help of the planets placed in this Vedic chart. Now this is any arbitrary Vedic chart wherein I had not plugged in the birth details or the birth times or the place of birth. This is just a chart that I have constructed on an arbitrary basis in order to just explain you the concept. So it's just for the explanatory purposes. So so we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's put Mercury here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is the chart. This is the chart that I'll be using to explain you the concept of yogas. Now, if you have look at this chart, and I hope you must have been by now aware of how do we go about reading a Vedic chart. So this is the chart for a Scorpio ascendant, and and it contains the 12 houses. And if you look at this chart very closely, then you can infer that either most of the houses are empty or most of the houses have only a single planet placed in them. Like this 3rd house, this 11th house, this 5th house, this 6th house. All these 4 houses are empty, and in the 2nd house and in the 12th house, in the 1st house, in the 4th house, in the 7th house, in the 8th house, and in the 9th house, there is only a single planet placed in that particular house. So there isn't any yoga happening as far as the conjunction aspect is concerned. There isn't any yoga happening in any of these houses. The only yoga that is happening in this chart is in the 10th house, which is the yoga formed by the two planets Sun and Moon, since they are placed in the same house. And for your knowledge only, I am telling that this is called the Surya Chandra Yoga. Since in Hindi we use the terminology Surya for sun, and we use the terminology Chandra for moon. So herein we have the Surya Chandra yoga happening in this chart, and likely are the chances that this yoga when it will manifest in this life of in the life of this person whose chart I have arbitrarily taken up. At this time, when this yoga comes into fructification, it's going to bestow that individual with a lot of name, fame, prosperity, stardom, and not even that, he will have. He will feel very blissful, very contented, very satiated, he will feel as if he's on a merry-go-round roller coaster, as if he's on a roller coaster ride for life. But what makes me, now you might be wondering that what makes me decipher out that this yoga is a good yoga. So for that we will have to analyze that what is happening in this yoga. First of all, let us analyze that in which house is this yoga taking place. So this yoga is taking place in the 10th house of the horoscope. And in my previous episodes, let me remove these signs, because then it will become too messy for you to understand. So this yoga is happening in the 10th house of the horoscope, and I had already explained in my previous episodes that the 10th house is the second most powerful house in any chart we are having a look at. This 10th house is the second most powerful house, and in this chart, although this 10th house is ruled by the planet Sun, and originally in astrology this 10th house is ruled by the planet Saturn. But irrespective of the fact that which is your rising sign, which is the sign placed here in the 10th house, what happens is that whenever any planet, irrespective of it being Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Rahu, not Ketu, but any other planet other than Ketu, if placed in the 10th house, that planet feels privileged. That planet feels that planet feel as if feels like as if he's being paid, as if he's being revered, as if he's being paid homage to. He feels like he's at the top-notch position. He feels like he's at the top-notch executive position, because 10th house is the house of the career, and 10th house is related to career, reputation, name, fame, glory, stardom. Why? Because 10th house is exactly opposite the 4th house. If you can see, this is the 4th house where Mercury is placed, and right opposite to this is the 10th house. So 10th house signifies situation wherein we are leaving the conveniences of our home, and we are stepping into that big bad dirty world wherein or on a more sophisticated note, you can say that 10th house is the house of the career, and it is when we step out of our own physical home that we take up the career pursuits. So 10th house, that's why is given a special status in Vedic astrology, since it is the house of name, fame, career, and reputation. Secondly, you must realize that now we have figured one thing, that this yoga is taking place. In the second most powerful house of the horoscope. The second thing that we got to take into consideration while assessing that whether this yoga will turn out to be positive or negative, is the fact that we must realize that this yoga is taking place between the planet Sun and Moon. And you must realize here that Sun is the Lord of the 10th house. Sun is the Lord of the 10th house, and Moon is the Lord of the 9th house. Since 4, the symbol 4 is always represented by the planet Moon. So Moon owns the lordship of the 9th house. And see what is happening. Now these four houses, the first house, the 4th house, the 7th house and the 10th house, these 4 houses are the Kendra houses. These 4 houses are the Kendra houses that make up the inner square plate. And I am putting the K for your convenience and circling it up so that you can identify it later when you come to my video later. So these 4 houses are the Kendra houses, and the Kendra houses are the houses which are related to the materialistic pursuits of life. Kendra houses are not the houses which are related with happiness, prosperity, well-being, having a feeling blissful, contented, or satiated in life. No, these are not the concepts that are these are not the concepts or the traits that are associated with the Kendra houses. Instead, the Kendra houses, that is the 1st house, the 4th house, the 7th house and the 10th house. These houses in a chart are associated with the materialistic pursuits of life. And the materialistic pursuits of life could be anything. It could be a materialistic pursuit wherein you have or you long to have a huge amount of wealth in your account. It could be the material. It could be the material desire. It could be the material desire or pursuit wherein you might be holding, wherein you might be into a particular career, or you might be holding an office rank or position which is very powerful and influential in itself. So it could be a situation wherein you are at a very dignified, at the top notch. Like in the MNCs, you have the top-notch executive and the managerial positions, or you can even be the CEO, the CEO of the company, or the CFO, the CMO, who else can I quote? The CFO. All those prominent people who hold the final say in the business decisions. So all these are the materialistic desires in our life which are seen from the 10th house. And 10th house, as I already told you, is related to stardom and you being recognized as some influential figure in the society. Then why this 7th house? Why this 7th house is considered as the house of materialistic desires? Because it's the house of partnerships. It's the house of partnerships. It could be a partnership of business, or it could be a partnership of marriage. So since the 7th house is exactly opposite the 1st house, so it represents that how fruitful would be our partnerships or interactions with the other people. So success in business partnership, success in marriage is seen from the 7th house, or even success even if you are running an individual business can be seen from the 7th house. And all these are the materialistic desires. Let's wait here and you just realize it on a spiritual note, that herein, when we are operating in the 7th house, our happiness is based on how our dealings with the other people gonna turn out to be. Herein we are when we are operating in the 7th house, our happiness is based on what kind of a life partner do we want, and would we in our life would be blessed with such a life partner who may help us emotionally, who may help us financially, or who may help us flourish in one manner or the other. So what is happening in the 7th house is that we are that we are not contented by ourselves. Rather we are centering our happiness, rather we are centering our goals, rather we are centering the fun element in our life on the results of the dealings of the other people, which is not in our hands, which is decided by the karma that we have brought with us when we took birth on this planet. So getting a wife of your dreams, getting the business partner who's going to help you make a lot of money, or you being single-handedly owning a business, that is, you might be a CEO, and how much amount of success would you be amassing in your career depends upon the workforce, depends upon the colleagues, depends upon the clients. And while many of these things are in your hands, but quite a lot of things are there which by happenstance, I mean, you cannot control them. You cannot control the partners that you bump into, or the co-workers or the colleagues that you might be working along with. So your happiness is based on those people, rather than feeling liberated, or rather than feeling happy by your own. So it in a way is a house of materialistic desires. Then what about the fourth house? Fourth house. Now fourth house is not only the house of the mother, but if you have watched my fourth house astrology video, in that video I had discussed in detail about the fourth house. I'll reiterate those fine lines again over here. Fourth house is not only the house of the mother, that is, fourth house essentially what most of the people associate with the fourth house is that how blissful would you be, would your relationship with your parents, would you have the financial or the emotional backing of the parents, and would the people of your homeland support you, is essentially seen from the fourth house. But what the people forget is that fourth house, other than the house of the mother and the people of your homeland, it is also the house. It is also the house of land, and it is also the house of land and property. It is also a house of land and property, and it also controls the physical home, the physical structural home that you live in. So, if the fourth house of yours is well placed, then quite likely are the chances that you're going to be blessed with a lot of land and property in your life. You may inherit it through your parents, or you may go into the real estate business and thereby make it begin that real estate business. Then from the fourth house we also see the conveniences and the luxuries in our life, and the convenience and luxury in our life could be anything. It could be the convenience of staying in a 5-star instead of a 3-star when you go to the luxury vacations. It could be the convenience of it could be the convenience of you. It could be the convenience of you being you having a house, villa or bungalow, which in itself is symbolic of the structural and the architectural brilliance. Fourth house. It could be the convenience that not only you have a house which in itself is symbolic of grandeur and wealth and prosperity, but you might also be surrounded by a number of servants who at your single call would go beyond the call of their duty to make sure that their master doesn't even have to sacrifice even an iota of his comfort zone. So you might be one individual, no matter how bad or good your life is, you might be one individual who might be privileged in life, or who might be blessed in life with the things like with the kind of situations wherein you might be as some kind of a hippie soul. You might be laying on your sofa seat or on the couch, and all those servants might be taking your orders, serving you one of the most palatable and one of the most exotic cuisines in the world, and the things of that sort. Things of that sort are seen. What else? Then fourth house is the house of luxury. Fourth house is the house of automobiles, the luxury vehicles. Whenever we are to decide at what time would we be owning a luxury, a high class, those BMWs, those Lee Coopers, or any of those McLarens and the things like that, that is seen from the fourth house. That is seen from the dignity of the fourth house of your horoscope. So it, in a way, the fourth house has to do a lot with material desires. As I have just told you. Now, if somebody's fourth house is screwed, that does that mean that he would the relationship of his with his parents gonna be screwed, or he is not gonna be blessed with the luxuries and conveniences in life, or he will not have a good home or a home of his own? No, he might have a home of his own, and he might have a structurally well built home with all the luxuries in there, but the situation might be like that. Although he might be making $1 million, but at the time when he comes home, he will be the person who will be rushing to the kitchen to do all the household chores, or to do all the household chores, or indulge into the culinary acts, cooking and the cleaning kind of a stuff. The things would be of that nature. So had your fourth house been well placed, those menial jobs or the household chores which were instead performed by your mother, or that sounds a bit erratic, or I mean in India the things happen that way. So whether all those menial chores for you are being done by the mother or any person who is residing in your home, like the example of servants I gave you, all that could be happening if your fourth house is well placed. And first house, as you all know, is the house of self, is the house which decides what are our inclinations, what are our goals, what are the things that we likes and dislikes in life, what is the karma that we have taken place on earth to fulfill. So it is the house wherein we are solely thinking about ourselves and not the other people. So all these four houses that are the Kendra houses are dealing with the material desires, and while these four are the Kendra houses, the houses 1, 5, and 9 are called the Trine houses. One is both the Trine house as well as the Kendra house. So this is, I am putting the circle over the T, the fifth house, and the ninth house. So these are the Trine houses. Now Trine houses are not symbolic of the materialistic wealth that you gonna be endowed with, that fanfare stardom, or you gonna be living in those villas, those huge bungalows, or you gonna have $1 million in your bank account. That is a trait of the Trine houses. But what the Trine houses, why a very special stature is given to the Trine houses in Vedic astrology is because of the fact that these are the houses of luck, of fortune. That is, they don't guarantee you $1 million, but even if you are a person making $20 a month, and your Trine houses are well placed, then likely are the chances that even with those $20,000 that you are earning, you would feel a sense of contentment, a sense of satiation and satisfaction. You would be able to see the ray of light in one of the most horrendous and the dark situations in your life. And other than that, the fifth houses are concerned. The fifth house and primarily the ninth house is called the house of fortune. That is why the D9 house in Vedic astrology is given a lot of importance, because this is the house which tells that how fortunate or lucky are you gonna be in your endeavors. That is, if you are doing this much amount of work, would you be blessed this much? This is the thing that would be happening had your Trine houses being well placed, and it would be exactly vice versa. If your Trine houses are screwed, then you might be putting in this much of effort, while you might be getting only this much. So This is one reason why trine houses are given a special stature. Other than that, trine houses are the houses of the higher education, the belief system, the philosophy, especially ninth house governs the higher learning, the belief system, the religious texts, the higher studies at the universities. You holding ninth house is basically the house of optimism. It induces a lot of optimism in your life, no matter how good or bad the state of the current state of life, the current state of your life might be. But ninth house always shows you a ray of light, that your attitude might be that fine enough, I am going through a troublesome time now, but few years down the line, or I am regularly putting in an efforts, and maybe a few years down the line, everything's gonna be fine. So you would not get melancholy or doleful if these are the two houses that are strongly placed in your horoscope. So and there's one more thing. Now let's suppose the Kendra houses in your chart are very well placed, and malefics do very well when these are placed in the Kendra houses, as well as fulfilling the material desires of yours are seen. But I have seen many individuals whose trine houses are screwed. These and the Kendra houses are very well placed, and those are the people who own every luxury of the world to an extent that I cannot put the land, assets, property, and everything that they own in words, such as the grand lifestyle of theirs. But down within, these people feel nullified. These people don't feel that sense of satisfaction or satiation. These people do not. The fun factor for sure is missing in their life, because their trine houses are screwed. So wealth, philosophically, even it is told philosophically that material desires would not buy you happiness. Yet it can happen the other way, that happiness might bring you materialistic wealth because you are optimistic in your endeavors. But it doesn't happen the other way around, wherein the materialistic success can bring you happiness. So trine houses are of extreme relevance. And look what is happening here. This yoga was taking place between sun and moon, and while sun is the lord of the 10th house, which is a Kendra house, and moon is the lord of the 9th house, which is a trine house, and one of the most important trine houses, because it is the house of optimism, belief system, higher learning. And it is your optimism, belief system, higher learning, whether you want to gun people down. Is this your philosophy, or your philosophy is to help the world, is to help the entire community through your good deeds, whatever may be your philosophy. But it is that philosophy that takes us forward in forward in life. So what is happening here, that one planet is the ruler of the Kendra house, the other planet is the ruler of the trine house. So not only in that particular period of sun and moon would the materialistic desires of this person would get fulfilled, but he would also feel a sense of satisfaction, contentment, optimism, enthusiasm, the fun factor in his life, because the lord of one of the trine houses, that is the 9th house, is involved. So the second thing we used to interpret how strong is the yoga is the lordships. So we are done with the houses and the lordships. Now we got to see that which sign are these two planets placed in. And the sun is placed in its own sign. Although sun gets exalted in the sign of Aries, but I have seen that sun performs much better in Leo as compared to Aries. Of course, it will give good results in the exalted state, but sun cannot ask for more, being placed in the 10th house, and that too in its own sign. And similarly, Leo is the sign of the sun. Leo is the sign of the sun, of which moon is a friend. So Leo is also a good sign for moon to be placed in. So this again validates that this is a good yoga. Now finally we shall look at the friendship aspect, that whether the planets that are participating in that in this yoga, whether they are friends to each other or they are enemies to each other. and sun and moon are given the stature of the king and the queen in the kingdom, and they are in a good sign. They are the best friends to each other. They are placed in a good sign. They hold the lordship of both the Kendra houses and the Trikona houses. They are placed in a good house and in the good sign. So this makes this yoga a very, very powerful yoga. But when this will yoga give results? This yoga would give results during the planetary Mahadasha, during the planetary Mahadasha of the planet Sun, or during the planetary Mahadasha of the planet Moon. And if you were to pinpoint that when the exact amount, that what is the exact period when this particular yoga would endow you with all those things that I told you of, then it would be in the Mahadasha of Sun and the Antardasha of Moon, or it could be the other way around, that the similar results would be felt in the Mahadasha of Moon and the Antardasha of the planet Sun. So this was it about the Sun and the Moon example. Now wait a minute, let me find out the marker. Just hang on. So now guys, let us take another example. Let's suppose if this yoga, let's put this moon, in the 9th house, and let's assess that what would have been the case had Saturn was earlier placed in the 12th house. Now I have placed Saturn in the 10th house. Now what can you make of how powerful this yoga is, and is this yoga basically good or not, and how powerful this yoga is, and what sort of a results would this yoga give to this person. So what's happening here is that we will follow the similar procedure. So let's look at the house where these two planets, Sun and Saturn, forming the yoga, are placed in. These two planets are placed in the 10th house, which is the second most powerful house in the horoscope, as I already told you. And no matter which the planet, either any planet other than Ketu feels privileged, feels as if he's given a very reveredly status. 10th house is the house which is described as the house that is closest to the god. But in today's era, we can interpret this house as the house of career, which is connected with the name, fame, reputation, and all those things. And that is why, since it is a house of career, it is considered as one of the most important houses. So Sun and Saturn, both these planets forming a yoga, do not have any problem whatsoever. In fact, they are in a state of exhilaration while they are placed in the 10th house. Now let us look at the signs that these two planets are placed in. While Sun is placed obviously in a good sign, as I explained you before. For Saturn, Leo being placed in the sign of Leo causes discomfort, because Leo is the sign that is controlled by Sun, and Saturn is Saturn is the arch rival of Sun, or Sun is the arch rival of Saturn. You say it either way, doesn't make any difference. So it is kind of weakening this yoga a little bit, since in this yoga Saturn is not in a good sign. Then let us look at the lordships thing. I'll explain it here. Let us look at the lordships thing. So while Sun is the lord of the 10th house, as I already explained you, that it is the Kendra house, and it is the house connected with all the materialistic desires, and how powerful this house is. So, and Sun is moreover placed in its own house. But what is happening with Saturn is that Saturn is the lord of 10, 11. Saturn is the lord of the 3rd house and the 4th house. While the 4th house is a Kendra house, like I explained you before. 3rd house is the house of is considered as the Kama house in Vedic astrology. So any planets, the 3rd house, the 7th house, and the 11th house are the Kama houses in Vedic astrology. And these houses are not bad houses, but it's just that the malefics, when placed in these houses, or when the malefics hold the lordship of these houses do give results, since they are the houses of our desires. these houses do give results, but they flourish slowly and slowly with time. So as we age, the positive effects of the planets placed in these three houses gets escalated. So fine enough, even we don't have a major problem with the lordships, since Saturn is obviously ruling one of the Kama houses, but again it owns the rulership of one of the Kendra house as well, that is the 4th house. So fine enough, not a huge issue with that. With the lordship thing, we have covered in the signs which is causing Saturn to be a little discomfortable in the sign of Leo. But what the major thing here to be considered is that this yoga is happening between the two arch rivals. So does that mean that this yoga would not give results? No, this yoga would give the positive results, since both these planets are placed in the most powerful, second most powerful house of the horoscope, and even in the lordship things, the two Kendra houses are involved, which going to fulfill the materialistic desires of this person. Then one of the planets is placed in a good sign, and the other is placed in a little, and the other is uncomfortable in the sign. So this is kind of an average thing when we take the house signs thing into consideration. But what will play a major role here is that the two planets that are forming the yoga, they are not friends to each other, neither they are neutral to each other, rather they are the arch enemies of each other. And let me explain you by giving you an example. Let's suppose there are two players. Let's take the example of Rafael Nadal and Saturn Roger. Let's suppose Roger Federer is represented by the planet Saturn, and Rafael Nadal is represented by the planet Sun. And the tennis academy, through some permutation and combination, comes up with a pairing wherein it has decided that these so-called arch rivals, that is Roger Federer or Rafael Nadal, would be playing on the same side of the court against some other rivals. So what is happening is that now the rivals who used to fight against each other are now forming a pair, and all they got to concentrate is if they got to win a match, they got to leverage on each other's strengths and focus on defeating the other pair that is on the other side of the court. So what may happen is that they down within themselves know that if they have to get the trophy, or if they have to win the match, they will have to play the best. They will have to play the best, although they might be holding grudges deep within, but each one knows that he has to put his individual best in the game in order to progress in the further rounds. But Rafael Nadal is quite a different player as compared to Roger Federer. Rafael Nadal is a player who is all about aggression, optimism, who is a player you would associate the adjectives like agility, aggression, enthusiasm, those bountiful energies. He's like a jumping being, the way he covers the court, those amazing and the powerful backhands and forehands. He's a rising star, and he's a role model for many of the people who are planning to take up lawn tennis as their professional career. So obviously he is like that planet Sun. But Roger Federer, I'm just giving an example, I don't know his history, but Roger example is I see the traits of Saturn in Roger Federer, because he's a player who is not as aggressive, as the other people on the court are. He is not about shouting, yelling, or doing those thing when he scores a point or wins a rally. Rather, he is of the mental orientation that the real fight is not won by being a jumping bean, by playing those powerful strokes. Rather, the main fight is won not by showing the aggression, but by playing the classical shots. So, like Saturn, which is representative of persistence and perseverance, that is regularly practicing, and that regular practice takes you forward. So Roger Federer is a veteran in this field. So he has been a legendary player for all those years to come. So his orientation is that I have those classical shots with me. that I will not even shout, I will not show even an iota of aggression on the court, but I will through my mental tactics, I will through my classical shots take the game away from the opponents, and I will do it in such a soft and sophisticated manner that the opponent would not even realize that when Roger Federer took the game away from him. So both of these are the planets of the different orientation, and they'll be playing their individual best. But at the end of the game, both of them would like to be in news for who scored the most scoring shots, and this is where the synchronization between the two can go wayward, because when you are playing on the same side of the court as a pair, it is not your individual skill that matters. It is your it is how you gel with each other. What do I say? That collective effort is the one that puts you in a position to take the match away from the opponents. So herein the trouble will come. But since these two are obviously good players, obviously these are the two top ranked players, so they will end up, even if they are not compromising, even if they are not leveraging on each other's strengths or not coordinating with each other, their individual game is such a class. Since placed in the 10th house, they have such a class that they will end up defeating the rivals they are fighting against, and they will progress to the further round. But still, that synchronization will not be there, which can take the game a little more time. There might be a situation wherein the other opponent might take away some set, but finally they will end up winning for sure. So similar is the thing that is happening here, that Sun and Saturn will give results, but they'll be at the end, they'll be holding the grudges for each other, which kind of makes this yoga weak. So while the Sun and Moon yoga was like 100% active, this yoga which is happening between Sun and Saturn would be like 70% happening. And what this I'm telling you for your knowledge, that if this particular yoga is happening in somebody's chart, then high are the chances that this people would either be in the marketing, would be either into the marketing or the manufacturing business, or he would be in politics, because Saturn is the ruler of the third house, and third house, whenever Saturn rules the third house, it triggers the entrepreneurship things. I had discussed in the Scorpio rising sign, wherein I dealt with the Scorpio ascendant. So for the Scorpio ascendant, Saturn deals the third house and the fourth house. So what happens is that this Saturn will take this person, since third house is the house wherein you are no longer blessed with the luxuries of life, and you make it big in the world by putting in your own efforts, wherein you no longer have the financial or the emotional backing up of the family, and you are the single person responsible for how ahead you go in life. So this is an excellent yoga for somebody who wants to be in the manufacturing of the business material that go into the construction of the house, because marketing from the third house, then Saturn is itself a planet of marketing. It's a lot of the fourth house. So and the Sun is all about holding the ranks like CFOs, CMOs, those big shot business tycoons and the things like that. So this yoga, when it will manifest in the Mahadasha of Sun and Saturn, it will bring this person immense amount of fame if he is into the manufacturing of bricks, if he is into the manufacturing of paints, if he is into the manufacturing of the wooden material, if he is into the manufacturing of any of the appliances that are used in the not appliances, but any of the building material that go into the construction of the house, because Saturn is representative of civil engineering as well. So this is how we interpret the conjunction yoga in Vedic astrology. Now for you people, I will take these other four things in the part 2 of the episode, and till that I will give you a homework, because you won't learn other that's the best way to learn Vedic astrology. Now I am giving you this task that let's suppose 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. Let's suppose Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, Saturn, then Ketu, Rahu. Now Mars was placed here. Now if Sun and Moon are not placed here, and instead these three planets, Sun plus Moon plus Mars, are placed in the second house, they are forming a yoga, they are forming a conjunction yoga. But will this yoga be good or not, and what kind of results will it bring into the person's life? This I will be discussing, and it's a homework for you people to decipher out. Many of you people can place comments in case you are able to decipher out the same. And the other homework for you people is to decipher out, if let's suppose 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's suppose here what is happening is that Jupiter, what shall I say, not this example, I shall take some different example, okay. It will become 11, it will become 10, it will become 9, it will become 8, it will become 2, it will become 3, it will become 4, it will become 5, 6, 7. Now for the same Scorpion ascendant, had Jupiter and Sun been placed here, Jupiter, Sun and Moon being placed here, then what can you make of this particular yoga? So these are the two yogas, these are the two homework for you people, and you can place your comments down below before I come up with the part 2 of the video, in which I will be discussing these two conjunction yogas and the rest of the 4 points that we are currently left with. So guys, on this note, this is your host signing off. Do subscribe to my channel, watch all the videos that I have under the playlist section of mine. Many of those videos might some of those videos I might be having some of those videos that you might be interested in. So stay glued to my channel and follow astrology regularly. So till then, this is your host signing off. Goodbye.